the boss.
Oh, yeah. Hey, everybody, and welcome to the Berlin Open Stage Show.
Welcome to the Boss Podcast. I'm one of the hosts, Trevor Silverstein.
And I'm Stentor Jonsson, and we are recording these episodes in quarantine, so to speak, doing Zoom recordings. We usually do these shows live at the Comedy Cafe Berlin, where anybody can sign up. It's an open stage in Berlin to do a show. But of course, we can't do that now, so we're doing them over Zoom.
Yeah, and one of the exciting things is that our hosts are just super thrilled to be continuing to produce content for us. And a lot of them are big names. Sometimes they're just random people, locals from Berlin. Sometimes they're, people from other parts of the world. And sometimes they're celebrities, some of whom are no longer alive.
Yeah, and wow, do we have one who fills those categories.
Absolutely.
This week. He was a guest on a previous episode. He's never hosted before, I believe.
No, he appeared as a co-host on episode 50, Rick Astley's charity fundraiser number 2 for water, the Raw Water Company. And he was really enthusiastic about improv comedy when he did that. And, we produced these shows out of Comedy Cafe Berlin and improv comedy theater. And I guess he took some classes there and he wanted to teach his own class, which is pretty crazy.
Yeah. And there's no use being coy about who he is. We all know him. We all love him. It's John Lennon.
Yeah.
Who somehow is still, among us and is teaching these improv classes apparently.
Yeah.
And I have to say, I actually was in this episode, which never happens.
Cool. I didn't even know that. That's really cool.
Because he wanted some people from the community to take the class with him, so I was one of the people, and I gotta say it was a very interesting class. So
that's so cool. I don't know why he didn't ask me, but that's cool. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, maybe he likes me more. Who knows? John Lennon.
Anyway, I guess then I'm very curious to see how it went. So I guess then let's.
So please welcome John Lennon teaching Intro to Improv.
Hi everybody. Hello. Thank you all for being here. Yes. Bit of a big entrance. We've got a big day ahead of us here, don't we? I've got my coffee here. I'm walking into class, so to speak, but we're all, of course, here on a digital Zoom room, aren't we? Hi everybody. Of course, yes. Before we get started, this is an Intro to Improv with John Lennon. That's me. I'm your instructor. A little bit about myself. Perhaps maybe you're familiar with me. I don't want to assume anything, but I'm John Lennon. I'm one of the Beatles, of course, one of the Lennon-McCartney, one of the main singer-songwriter combinations in the world, of course. So I've got a bit of a credential to my name. And of course, I did die. So you probably heard about that. I've been dead for a long time. But now I'm back from the dead. I've come back down from heaven, where I most definitely am in heaven, and I've come back down here to learn about something that piqued my interest as of late. If anyone, you guys have probably all heard of it because you're here today, but improvisational comedy.
Yes. Wow.
Yeah. Thank you for chiming in there. Yes, improvisational comedy. It's a thing that's ignited the world in a way that I never thought even my music would. I mean, improvisational comedy is everywhere, and I've just become so passionate about it. You might have even heard me talking. I was a guest on one of these Berlin Open Stage whatchamacallit episodes back months ago, and I was talking all about improvisational comedy. And you know what? I've decided after a few classes I've taken at Comedy Cafe Berlin, I've taken Intro to Improv there, I've taken Game, I've taken even Advanced, I've taken Harold at some point, and I've forgotten everything I learned in that, but it's a learning process. But I figured I might as well start getting going with my own school, so I've decided to bring a couple of students here for a little bit of a test class here together, and we're all going to come together, so to speak, with improvisational comedy. Yeah, pretty funny, right?
Is that what this is?
Yeah, so,
I didn't, because you invited me to this, John.
Yeah, so maybe this is thank you for chiming in there. Well, maybe it's a good time we can go around the horn and, so to speak, and introduce ourselves. I want to know a little bit about you and what's your background with improv comedy. So why don't we start with the young man over there who was chiming in just now, is Josh.
Right. Yeah. Hi. Josh Telson. I'm one of the co-directors of the Comedy Cafe Berlin Training School, where you took classes with me.
Exactly. Thank you for being with me here, Josh.
So do you just want me here as an observer, or what?
No. I figured it's a bit of a, like I said, it's a bit of a test run we're doing here. I mean, I've never taught an improv comedy course before, and I figured as an honor almost, I would invite my former teacher.
someone who I learned everything from.
Well, it's very kind. I mean, it's a little weird. I'll be
of course.
honest.
Yeah, no,
Right.
I understand that. And
Yes.
so, yeah, but your experience is teaching at Comedy Cafe Berlin. You're not so much
Sure.
ever been a student at Comedy Cafe Berlin, have you?
That's fair. You know what? That's a good. You know what? There's a good opportunity for me to see what it's like on the other side.
I agree. I
Okay.
agree.
Yeah.
And from me, no less. You know, I mean,
That you know what? A lesson from John Lennon, even in the things that I have taught him. I'm looking forward to that.
absolutely. But thank you, Josh, for being here. And it's not going to be awkward at all. I promise. I'm not going to do anything weird. I'm not going to make you feel uncomfortable with the authority that you rightfully have. All right? I wanted to promise you that.
Oh, sure.
Okay.
I'll go along with anything.
And then, well, next up, just over to your left, on my view at least, would you like to introduce yourself, Rose, and tell us a little bit about your improv experience?
I'm Rose Miles. Actually, Josh has also taught me.
Really?
So I wonder whether maybe we could trade places at some point. I could tag team, maybe co-teach at some point if we've taken the same classes together. We'll see.
You want to co-teach with me or with Josh? Who are you saying?
With you, Sir John Lennon.
Okay, I would feel a little bit more comfortable if you didn't do that at the top of my class. I mean, that's a bit of a weird starting point, I think, for us to be.
Is that weird? That's weird for you, John.
Well, Josh, I mean, forgive me, but this is a completely different circumstance that Rose is proposing.
No, you're right.
Yeah.
You're right. Yeah.
Yeah,
of
what she
course.
has suggested is at the top of the class, when I asked her about her improv experience, she was asking me if she could co-teach this course. Not exactly what I was doing, where I took 3 of your classes. I did not thrive in them at all, and then I started
No.
teaching right away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you're an amazing human being. I
Thank
loved
you.
having you, but you were not.
I
a
am
good
an amazing human being. That's one thing people
Yes.
don't get enough down there in the back of their little skulls, you know. Anyway.
And I don't step on your toes, John. You are an amazing human being. I respect you. I respect your music mostly,
you.
not really you as a character, as a persona,
character?
so, just as like a human.
Okay.
But as a musician, as an artist, I do respect you. I'm just really eager. I'm happy to be here.
Thank you, Rose.
Social contact, human contact of any kind right now is just much appreciated. That's why I'm here. I'm here to learn. I'm here to socialize. I'm here to make friends. I'm here. Hi.
We've got a lot of expectations, Rose, but that's certainly normal for the circumstances for wanting to. But I appreciate all that, and we'll find our best ways to address all those things you want to work on. Human contact, for one. We'll find our way to make that happen for you.
I missed that. Yes, thank you.
So moving on, we've got another student here. Duke, would you like to introduce
Yes.
yourself?
Oh, well, yes, I would like to introduce myself. First of all, it's such an honor to even have this chance because, I admire you so much as a musician, as a human being, and I so much want to be like you, when I die, I want to come back too, if that would be possible for me. And then I also like Asian girls, and I know you do. And it's
Duke,
just-
I'm sorry. What are you talking about?
no,
I didn't ask that at all.
Oh, well, I was just thinking how I could be more like you. And so I'm taking this class. When I saw that you're actually teaching this class, I was like, wow, I got to take it no matter, how good or bad the actual class is.
So you're not taking this class at all for the improv comedy. You're in it completely to be more like me.
Right.
All right.
So by taking the class and being in this class, I get to be a little bit more like you in a way.
All right. Again, a weird objective to be coming into this class. I feel as though this is already going to be a bit of a challenge to work with you on this one because I am here to teach intro to improv, not how to be me. I mean, I don't necessarily want you to be taking notes on how to be more like me.
I didn't want to upset you at all.
No, I'm not upset. I'm very, very much not upset. I don't find myself getting very upset very often anymore. A lot of people think I used to have a bit of an anger issue, and I don't anymore because that's one of the beauties of performing comedy on a regular basis is you get to put all that anger out into funny things. I think.
Right. Thank
And
you.
anyway,
Thank you.
we'll come
Thank
back
you.
to you for more, Duke. Thank you there. Next up, Antonia.
Hi, yeah, I'm Antonia. I'm also an improviser and a teacher at the Comedy Cafe Berlin.
Shit, I didn't really. Oh, okay, yes.
Oh, you didn't? That's cool. I mean,
No,
you
I just
know,
didn't. I didn't. I guess maybe I did know that. I must have known that, and so I figured maybe you'd be interested in learning from me a bit as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I am on the website and everything.
Ah, yes. I must have seen that. Yeah.
Yeah, it would be possible for you to know that.
Yeah,
but,
of course, yeah.
Yeah, when you invited me, I was like, you know what? It's really cool to see different styles of teaching. So I'm guessing this is. I mean, it does say intro to improv, but I'm assuming it's musical improv.
Not exactly. We may get into some musical stuff, but that's a bit more advanced, and we'll probably. I'm going to have to probably start my own musical course at some point because, of course, I am John Lennon, one of the most famous songwriters in the world.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you. And maybe, but this is intro to improv.
Okay.
Mostly
Josh,
short form improv.
Short. Oh,
This
okay.
is short form?
Not exactly, but
Right.
of course, to get to long form, you kind of have to do a little bit of short form, don't you? You
I
have
don't
to
think so.
That
Well-
makes sense. That makes sense to me. Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Sorry. So Josh, is John teaching for CCB now, or
I do just want to clarify that. I mean, I you know what? I who's to say down the line that couldn't happen? But we do have a teacher
Okay.
training program.
It's
Yeah.
John
Right.
Lennon.
Yes,
Totally.
agree
It would
with
be
Duke on this
amazing.
one.
It would be amazing to have John Lennon
It
teach.
would
but
be.
we
Would
do
be
have,
amazing, wouldn't it?
It's-
Right.
Could you
I mean,
imagine?
To be honest,
mean-
right now we don't
Imagine,
even have
yeah.
courses running because everything's on lockdown.
Right.
So there's not
no.
really space.
Terrible timing then for me to be starting my own course here, isn't it?
In fact,
Yeah.
Antonia is teaching the only course that's running right now.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yes.
So
yeah.
that's pretty funny then. You're teaching the only course that's running and I'm teaching you. Interesting, isn't it then?
Yeah, that's super interesting. I am incredibly interested in that.
Wow, what a weird world we live in. But we still have one more
Yeah.
student, and maybe it gets even weirder to have introduced one of the hosts of the Berlin Open Stage Show himself, Steindor.
Yeah, hi. Yeah, I'm Sten Jonsson. I'm one of the two hosts of the podcast, and we're so happy to have John back on.
Thank you.
It was such an incredible presence last time you were around, and I haven't taken an improv class in a while. I mean, I've been doing it for 6 years, so. But going back to the basics is always really helpful.
I
think.
agree. Yeah.
Just remember.
And for
the
me,
whole,
going back to the
you know-
basics means going back about 3 months in the past.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, going back to just before Christmas, I believe, when
Exactly.
you took the class and
Exactly.
kind of appeared in the community, which we were all really excited about.
Yes,
and a little
literally, I
fr-
appeared in the community out of
yeah,
nowhere.
it was a little bit freaky. You kind of a sci-fi kind of just appeared out of nowhere.
Exactly.
Like Jesus.
Yes, thank
Wow.
you, Duke. Thank you.
I don't think we need to
I think Jesus was
go
born,
there.
but-
Analogy is not
Yeah.
really.
Well, I mean,
It's not-
as you guys all know, the Beatles are bigger than Jesus, as I have once famously said.
And you died and you rose again.
Yeah. Yes. Precisely. And so maybe now is a good time to just get started. I just wanted to ask, you guys all know each other? You guys all familiar with each other?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
Okay. Well,
Sure.
because I had sort of planned it a little differently, I wasn't sure whether people would know each other. We're going to do a little warm up here just to get started. Are we all ready to get started with the class?
Yes.
Great.
Yes,
So there's
yes.
a little warm up.
Sure.
We're gonna go around, and you're gonna say your name and do a little adjective that starts with the same letter as the
we're
first
doing an
letter
icebreaker.
of your first name. Sorry, what'd you say, Josh?
Okay. We're doing an icebreaker.
An icebreaker. Yes, exactly. We're
Yeah.
doing a little bit of an icebreaker. Oh, you guys all know each
I
other.
shouldn't have told you what that's called. All right.
I'm not sure why you would hide that information from me. That's pretty. Doesn't seem like that's an improv secret.
No, it's not. It's not. It's just, I was just surprised you didn't know it.
No, I didn't. It must have come into the vernacular after I died. Anyway, Josh, why don't you start? What's an adjective and your name that?
Hello, everybody. My name is Jolly Josh.
Jolly Josh. Okay, thank you. And
Jolly Josh.
Rose.
Do I repeat it?
Well, we can all repeat it quietly to
Hi.
ourselves after he says it.
Jolly
Hi, Jolly Josh.
Jolly Josh.
Okay,
Thank you,
Jolly
Josh. And Rose.
Oh, Rose, that's me. I am Ridiculous Rose.
Ridiculous Rose.
Ridiculous Rose.
Ridiculous Rose.
Hi, Ridiculous Rose.
And Duke.
Thank you. Hi.
I am dumbfounded Duke.
Dumbfounded Duke. Very good. Very good.
Hi, Dumbfounded Dude.
Already building a character.
Dumbfounded Duke.
Building a character. Yes. And Antonia?
I'm Antsy Antonia.
Antsy Antonia.
Sure.
Yes.
Hello,
Antonia.
Ansi Antonia.
And
Nice to see
Steindor.
you.
Hi, I'm Stationary Stentor.
Stationary
Stationary
Steindor. I
Steindor.
like that. Very, very
I was
good.
also like, I wanted to say, I was excited to see like how you teach one of these classes over Zoom because I've never
Sure,
seen
yeah.
that.
Yeah, it's new
Because
territory.
improv relies a lot on physicality.
Of course, yes.
And you have to touch the other people to tap them out of scenes.
Of course, which doesn't work for me because I'm, of course, an apparition. And so this
Yeah, your
actually is
hands
a,
go right through people.
yeah, this is a
Yeah,
bit more
it
of an
was-
ideal circumstance for me anyway to be kind of teaching this way and not freaking people out at the jams, you know, when people try to touch me and they're like,
Right.
"Oh my god, is
I will say one thing though. It was actually pretty convenient because we have a pretty strict no physical contact rule in our classes, and I know it's just because you're probably from a different time, but you were very hands on, and luckily you couldn't actually be hands on because that you would have broken a lot of rules.
Yes,
I
of
heard
course.
you initiated one scene by saying, "I want to hold your hand."
Oh, well, yeah.
Josh immediately stopped the proceedings.
Oh come
Yeah,
on!
well,
That,
he
come on!
said,
That
"I
can't be
wanna
that
hold
bad.
your hand."
That can't be that
Yeah.
bad.
Well, you were taking various women's
my
hands
own
and then trying to
song.
like
I
take
was
their
one
hand.
of them actually, and I was really, truly uncomfortable with it, John. But
Yeah.
glad that
All right. I know when to take a hint, I guess. Then, so no, none of that. But that was a song that I did wrote. I did write it.
I mean, you
Well,
were
right,
initiating a
right,
lot of
right,
scenes
yeah.
with the titles of your songs.
No, well, that every now and then that happens, Stendo. I don't. What are you doing here? Trying to bring up, drudge up the
Oh, so
past
I-
here? Yeah. Anyway,
sorry,
I didn't get to
yeah.
finish the exercise. I'm Jolly John.
Oh, you're
Wait,
Jolly John. Oh,
took
hi,
Josh's-
Jolly John.
Oh, did
took
Josh do
Josh's
that?
turn.
Josh, did you do that?
That's what I
Oh,
had
sorry.
said, but it's fine. It's fine. It's fine. I consider it a badge of pride that
Yes.
you are not just taking over teaching, but
No. Okay, but what
Yeah,
are
I
you
mean,
then? Because if
since-
I'm Jolly John, what are you?
Oh, I have to do something else.
Well,
okay,
I mean, it only
that's-
makes sense, I guess.
right. Sure. I'm Juicy Josh.
Juicy Josh. All right.
Juicy,
And is that appropriate?
Well,
It's fine, I think.
It
Okay. Well, if
depends
you
on
guys think it's
the
fine, I don't know.
connotation.
I don't know. I died in 1980, so I don't know what's fine.
Did you die
Anyway,
in, okay.
maybe we can move on to the next one. So this is a game maybe you're all familiar with, Zip Zap Zop. Or you guys familiar with Zip Zap Zop?
Sure.
Yes.
Yeah.
Sure.
Cool.
I would
so-
love a refresher. I would love a refresher because there are different,
Yes, of course.
versions of the game.
Of
different-
course, yes. So it's got to be a bit different because this is, of course, over a Zoom conferencing. So you're going to have to say zip, and then you're going to have to say the name of the person that you want to send it over to, and then they're going to have to say zap, and then they're going to have to say the name of the person that they want to send it to. And so, do we understand that?
Yeah,
Yes.
I think in terms of like the podcast, because I have to be kind of protective of it.
Oh, of course,
It's
yeah.
not gonna be very exciting for the listener, I believe, to just hear sip name, sap name,
Okay.
sop name.
I mean,
you
I
really-
don't wanna-
You don't think it's that
I don't-
exciting?
I don't want to be a wet blanket, but I don't think it's going to be, very exciting for us either.
No, okay.
Or
I mean, I like Zip.
You
Oh,
like
I-
it. You needed a refresher,
like
but you
it a lot.
like it.
Yeah, no. I just once I remembered what it was. Once I got
Right,
back
of
into
course,
the swing.
yes.
Oh yeah. That's the one thing I do remember.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, Duke.
I have an improv related question.
Oh, okay. Already, we've done so little improv.
Well, I was wondering, was the reason you guys kept Ringo in the band was because you felt bad about kicking him out?
Sorry, what was were you asking about the Beatles? This is not an improv related
question. This is
question.
this is good for you to get practice with this, John, where you're going to have, there's always one student in your class who asks way too many questions. And
Josh, don't
insult
insult my student like that, please.
I'm not at all. I'm not insulting.
And Josh, you get asked a lot of questions about your like comedy fame and stuff like that in classes, right?
Yes, I get so many students. They ask,
like, why do you still perform with Noah? What are you doing?
Yeah. That's right.
You've grown way beyond what his capabilities.
They ask me why I'm still in Berlin, why I haven't moved to Los Angeles yet. Yeah.
So, Duke, so that's not really an improv-related question. I'm sorry. So I can't really answer that at this point.
Okay.
I don't want to hurt Ringo's feelings either, so I'm not going for that.
I'm sorry.
So anyway, if we're not going to play this, maybe we play another one that I like to call. So it's not Zip Zaz Up, but it's Obladi Oblada. Life goes on. So how about we do that then, if that's a little bit more exciting? So it's going to be Obladi, and then you say the person.
New one for me.
Oh, yeah, so you say Obladi, and then you say the person's name, and then they say Oblada, and then the other person's name, and then someone says Life goes on, and then the other person's name.
Oh, so it's Zip Zap Zop, but
Zap.
instead it's a song from the White Album.
Well, thank you for being such a fan of the music that you're able to identify that's from the White Album. Thank you for that.
My pleasure.
I guess it is a bit similar.
You are one of my musical heroes.
Thank you.
I
Thank
said
you,
that
Josh.
to you every class.
That means a lot to me. Thank you. It is, so if you don't want to do that, we can just move on. I mean, what no one mentioned.
No, we should do this.
We should do this? Okay. Well, fine, yeah. So, Josh, why don't you start then?
Obla D, Steindor.
Oblada, Duke.
And life goes on.
Okay, just going to give a first note here, Duke. That was too much hesitation on that one. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so just if you hear your name and then you go right away, whatever, Obladi, Oblada, or life goes on.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Should I start over?
Yes, you can. So you can start with Obladi this time.
Obladi, John Lennon.
Oblada, Antonia.
Life goes on, Rose.
Okay, hold on 1 second, Antonia. I'm just going to give a quick little note. Very little enthusiasm for the exercise, I'm noticing.
Okay. Sorry about that. You didn't say we needed to be.
No, I didn't say that,
but,
of course. But I thought you're a teacher at Comedy Cafe Berlin.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for remembering that.
Yeah, thank you. Well, it wasn't very long ago that we learned this information.
I mean, again, I feel like it would have been possible for you to know that in the first place.
Yes.
So,
it is possible I did. It's possible that I did know that and I invited you here, as a way of...
I'm fairly certain that you do know that, because didn't you signed up, you actually signed up for Intro to Improv auf Deutsch with Antonia, and you ended up taking 2 classes before you realized you were in the wrong class.
Yeah. Now that's all coming back to me. That's right.
Well, you
that,
did spend a lot of time in Hamburg performing there.
Yeah. And Antonia, I remember now it all coming back. I did get in trouble. I kept starting scenes with "Give me a deine Hand." I know. That's not.
Yeah.
That's not appropriate. Now I learned this.
I mean, a lot of your initiations. I mean, some of them they weren't even terrible, but when you just went. Sie liebt mich, yeah. I mean, that's don't initiate talking about someone else.
Yeah.
That's kind of
and
basic.
some of the students were shouting out Hilfe again and again.
I don't think that was a reference, though. I don't think.
Okay.
I think that was unrelated.
Okay.
I don't think you should be judging Sir John Lennon for his language skills.
Thank you,
I'm
Duke.
not judging him. I am not judging him for his language skills. That is not what I'm judging him for at all.
It's fine. We can keep. Maybe we're getting a little too sidetracked, I think, here, unfortunately, with this.
Yeah, we are about halfway through the class
Really?
of the podcast.
Really? Okay, that's very unfortunate. So I guess we'll move on then. So why don't we just do... you guys have all done scenes before, haven't you?
Yeah.
Yep.
Sure, yes.
Okay, well, why don't we do just a couple warm-up scenes? I'll give a suggestion, and then 2 people will step... Why don't we we'll pick 2 people to step up, and I'll give them a suggestion. So who wants to go first, I guess?
I'll go.
Antonia,
mind. Sure, yeah.
and who else?
I'll jump in.
Josh. All right, Antonia and Josh, the two teachers, going to start us off big time with a teacher scene, I guess. Not with a teacher, but the pressure is, the stakes are high with such talent, here. So okay, your suggestion for let's see, the good suggestion to warm up scene, pineapple.
Pineapple.
Hey, do you want some of that fruit salad?
Yeah, that sounds great. It's been really hot. I love to have fruit salad when it's hot outside, honey.
Yeah, it's so nice. Like, it's so nice and light. Like, I thought of for a long time what I would cook today, and I was like, you know what? Let's just have a nice fruit salad.
Yeah, Are you mad at me?
No, I'm just offering you some delicious fruit salad. You know, I've just been, in the kitchen making our meal plans and, taking everything into account, like the weather. And, nope, I'm just happily offering you some fruit salad. So how about you have some fucking fruit salad?
Okay, we're going to edit the scene there. Okay. Very good, very good. Everyone clap, please. Yeah.
Thank you. Thanks.
Thanks.
Very good, but a couple of things. Let's start from the beginning. We did start out. We know that you guys were a couple. We learned that right away, and we learned that you were outside. Well, that's what we learned. Is the location of the scene was outside, and that you were talking about lunch, weren't you?
I did. I'm not sure that. I didn't. I thought we were in the kitchen.
You were in the kitchen.
I thought we were in the kitchen.
And you didn't say. I thought you said we were outside or something.
No, I think you said it's hot outside, maybe. But
it's hot outside.
Really. Yeah, we weren't outside.
All right. Well, perhaps it was unclear to me because the conflict that Josh injected into the scene, it clouded my vision, so to speak.
Well, I just wanted to make sure that we weren't talking about the fruit salad and that we were talking about our.
I liked that though. I thought that was very funny, the fruit salad thing. And I thought there was a lot of room for comedy in that. I mean, Duke is nodding his head. Okay. Duke, did you agree on that one?
Yes, absolutely. I think you could have gone to, what kind of fruit is in the fruit
exactly.
salad.
Let's get specific. One of the things is be specific.
Strawberry.
Strawberries could have been in there, strawberry fields,
Melon.
So to speak. Yeah. You know.
Wait, so you would have just wanted us to just list ingredients of a fruit salad?
No, well, not list. I mean, the fruit salad is not the scene. I want to make that clear. The fruit salad is not the scene.
It sounds like you wanted the fruit salad to be the scene.
No, I would never tell you that because that would be a boring scene. Because what I want is you two making the fruit salad. That's the scene. So what you are putting into the fruit salad is the scene.
Well, we weren't making the fruit salad.
You weren't making the fruit salad. You weren't outside and you weren't making the fruit salad.
Right.
No, the fruit salad was
already made.
It was all. Well, look, okay, again, maybe
I feel like
now
Antonia and I were on the same page about.
Well, that may be,
Yeah.
but clearly the audience wasn't on the same page, so I don't know what.
Right.
I don't know what you want me to tell you then.
Do you want to ask the other people in the audience?
Rose, what did you think?
I mean,
I thought it was great. I saw some really.
I agree. It was great.
Was clear. I really love when Josh said, "Hey, honey, are you mad at me?" Really was trying to focus it on this relationship. I thought that was a pretty smart move.
Right.
So I was quite compelled by that the tension there.
Yes.
Dramatically speaking. Yeah.
Yes.
I thought they. It showed why they are the teachers, and why I'm only like sporadically allowed to teach some sketch workshops. It really did, show why they are kind of the head honchos.
Yes, it did show that.
Thank you.
Maybe okay. I think we gave maybe enough notes for this one. But pretty good. Another round of applause. Okay, there's a warm-up scenes.
Thanks.
We don't need to dissect them too much.
Right. Exactly. I was going to say usually when I run warm-up scenes, there's no notes whatsoever.
You don't do anything.
Nothing. No.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah, but this is Sir John Lennon's class. So.
Totally. I'm just saying when
Duke.
I run them.
Right. No, but it's true. Duke is right. This is Sir John Lennon's class.
That's
and one of the things that I think will separate my class from everyone else is that I will give notes on even the smallest of exercises.
You famously were like perfectionists music.
Exactly. So that's one of the things that improv has opened me up to, is being a little bit less of a perfectionist, letting improvisation inspire and see where it goes. So, but let's keep going. Let's do another warm-up scene.
Now, I have one. Are you going to be overdubbing these warm-up scenes?
Am I going to be overdubbing the warm-up
Well, I
scenes?
just mean, like you were famous for being one of the first artists to, record on 8-track and go back over again to dub back over.
I mean, I guess what Josh is asking is is Phil Spector going to come in and do like a full wall of sound?
Wall
treatment?
of sound.
No,
Yeah, exactly.
no. And Phil Spector's not a good guy. Not a good guy.
No.
No. He's
Oh,
a
yeah,
murderer.
Yes, he is.
So no, the short answer is I'm not going to be overdubbing.
You don't like murderers, John. Not a big fan of murderers.
No, I was murdered myself, for fuck's sake. Sorry, I
But
didn't
you're
mean to
back
get...
now. I feel like it's not that bad if you come back.
Oh, it's not that bad. Look, Mr. I'm still alive, telling me it's not that bad to die and then have to come back. Come on. Think about it this way. If I had been still alive, I would have moved to Chicago in the 90s and I would have gotten involved in improv then, and then I would be making a killing of doing improv. Especially
maybe-
right now, things would be thriving for me.
Maybe you could have been like one of the 4 people who like ran a successful theater into the ground.
Yeah, maybe the
true.
Beatles could have opened an improv theater.
Yes.
I do have kind of a personal question.
Yeah, well, sure, please.
How exactly
If anyone has a question at any point, please ask. Stop a scene if you need to. Do whatever you need to do.
Oh, okay.
How exactly did you come back? What was that?
Sorry,
What was
the connection got bad. What did you ask me?
Just wondering how you came back. Like, what was the process? How
Yes.
did you
And
come
I
back?
haven't known how to ask because I feel like it's it's a little.
I mean, it's a bit rude. It's a bit rude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But at this point, I need to know. Otherwise, I don't know if I can stay in your.
I've been wondering this myself, and like in terms of other guests of the podcast as well.
Yes. Well, I can only speak for myself, of course. So what I was, it turns out there's just a staircase. There's a stairway to heaven, and
Oh,
Wait, you didn't write that one.
no, I didn't write it at all. That was the good people over at Led Zeppelin. They wrote that
they
one.
wrote it.
Hey, we're not talking about that here. We're not going to get into the copyright infringement there. No, it turns out there's a stairway to heaven, and it turns out a lot of people Robert Plant talking about climbing the stairway to heaven, and I did the opposite. I went down the stairway to heaven, and I ended up. I walked out, and I was right, and I was in Berlin, of course, of all places. I don't know how necessarily I got there, and I saw this comedy cafe in Berlin, and I thought, oh, well, this is interesting. I don't even know what year it is right now, because that's one of the things people don't understand when you're up there. You don't keep track of anything. You tune everything out. You're not watching what's going on in the world, and so I feel like I am a bit of a Rip Van Winkle, in a sense. I fell asleep for a long time.
Have you seen Yoko? Have you gone to or Julian?
Yes, I have.
Oh, you have. Okay.
Yeah, you know what I mean. Yoko, and I established this, of course, in my previous appearance. Yoko and I are a two-prov duo. Yes,
Oh.
yeah, we were performing. We do
right.
a two-prov show
In bed, right?
John and Yoko. We've done a couple in bed now that we're in quarantine, of course. And
How is
Yeah,
Yes
that's
and going in
actually-
bad?
I don't understand the question.
I mean, I feel like there might be some kind of moral hazard to yes ending in bed.
Yeah, perhaps, but this is not. We're not talking about my sex life with my partner Yoko.
I don't know,
No.
I feel like right now in this situation, just doing improv in bed seems kind of like a good idea. I think that might be the future of improv.
It's possible. So again, maybe it's me being ahead of the curve here, so to speak.
Yeah.
While we're flattening the curve, maybe I've gotten ahead of it. And it's pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have an
Duke,
improv
yes.
related question. Yeah. Were you ever annoyed by McCartney's playing left-handed?
Again, Duke, this is not an improv-related question. It doesn't
Duke,
apply.
are you just trying to like get better at becoming like John Lennon? Is that what you're going for here?
Yeah. Yes, I would like. Well, thank you. That's yes. Just saying that makes.
Who's the left-handed McCartney on your improv team?
Oh.
That you are like you're asking you're
Rose
basically
is
asking if
raising
you're
her
allowed-
right hand to indicate that she's the left-handed McCartney on the improv team.
You're
I'm
asking
trying
if
to-
you're allowed to be mad at Rose for her choices.
Oh, if I was John Lennon, I think I should be allowed to be.
Okay, but we should
Wait,
probably
I'm sorry,
yes,
I would
Rose, yes.
just- hey, well, I was raising my right hand. I'm just trying to strengthen it. Actually,
course.
Duke called me out for being a little bit too left-handed.
Of course.
Literally in some of our practices, but
Yes.
so I'm just trying to even myself out. Is there something you'd like to say to me, Duke? Because I feel like we've now established a comfortable, safe space.
I agree. I think this is a very safe space.
I don't know if the teacher should encourage that kind of thing in a class.
Yeah, as a frequent
honest.
coach
Alright.
of their team, I would encourage you to.
Sure.
Well, I guess I'm here.
Actually,
here as
Josh,
a
I would
coach,
love
yeah.
you to chime in.
Yeah.
No,
Well,
no, I don't know if I would like that. I'm not sure.
Well, okay, I do have an improv-related question.
Okay,
Duke,
shoot.
you're absolutely not having an improv related question. Everyone knows you're just going to ask about John Lennon. Just
No.
ask your Beatles question, Duke.
No, it's related to the initial scene of Pineapple.
Perfect. Then we're still talking about that. We haven't started the second scene.
Right. About pineapples.
Yes, thank you.
Did you write Strawberry Fields?
Oh my
Because-
God.
I did write that song, but then again, that is not an improv-related question. Thank you.
I'm not laughing. I'm crying because
Yeah.
I love that song so much.
Thank you, Duke. I appreciate
You like
that.
strawberries.
I
like
appreciate that.
strawberries.
Thank you, Duke. Thank you. Maybe we should do the second scene. So, Duke or Steindor or Rose, two people. Just who wants to go?
I'll-
So Duke and Rose. Perfect. Okay.
Yes.
Great, we can work out our.
So then, your suggestion for this scene? Let's get something more interesting than pineapple. How about banana?
Banana. Sure.
Banana. Thank you, John.
Thank you. Hi. I'm John Lennon.
Hi, John. Thank you for.
Very interesting.
No, please.
I'm just so upset because in heaven they didn't have any bananas. So
Okay, I'm gonna stop the scene.
And so you
here.
can't
I'm gonna
turn
stop the
off-
scene. I'm gonna stop. Rose, I want to say very good, very good.
Thank you.
Rose.
Wow.
Very
Thank
good.
you so much.
Duke, I appreciate your effort on that one. I think you're coming from a good place. Unfortunately, your initiation, which is you can do anything in improv, and I appreciate you taking a stretch by wanting to be a celebrity, wanting to be a celebrity who's no longer alive. These are the kind of things we can do in improv, I think, which is really exciting. We can be people who we aren't.
thank you. Thank you.
And the problem I have with it is that instead of being imaginative, you've basically distilled the past 15 minutes into a scene initiation, and I'm afraid that's not exactly what we're going for. We want you to really stretch your legs,
Okay, I'm sorry.
Yeah. So for the rest of the day, just as I don't usually make rules of thumbs. But for the rest of the day, Duke, you're not allowed to be me in a scene, okay?
Oh, okay.
Just as
Okay,
all
right.
I didn't mean to hurt you.
Uh,
I didn't mean to make you cry.
no, it's just really emotional, that you're actually here and I get to be in this class.
Okay.
John, I just as a point, because this is your first time teaching, another thing that happens quite often in classes is that students use your name as their own name in a scene. It's a very common thing. So I don't want you to be too hard on
Really?
all the time. Yes. Yep.
Never
Antonia,
happened.
that's never happened to Antonia.
Well, I don't know what to tell. In fact, every course I've taught, someone has started a scene by naming themselves my name.
Interesting. Okay, well, if that's the kind of classes you're teaching, then...
I mean, people don't really use my name. They don't ask me any personal question. They never refer to me as like famous or anything. But that's cool. I'm cool
I mean,
with that.
Joss is, I guess, like more famous.
It's true.
Yeah.
I mean, how do those scenes go? Do they like say like, oh, I should really be doing like stadium gigs and have my own
Usually.
Netflix special and stuff like that?
Right. It's a lot of, yes, I should be playing Mercedes-Benz Arena and not Comedy Cafe Berlin. I should have written a book about improv comedy that everyone buys.
Yeah, why did they give that show to James Corden when Joss Me is available?
Or Mr. Sir John Lennon.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you would be a good late night host, I guess. John.
I think so.
Right.
That's true. You could be your own musical sidekick.
That's a good idea. Again, I think we're getting a little sidetracked, and we've got very little time to continue. So, Duke, why don't you sit this one out? We'll do another warm-up scene with Stained or Rose. Why don't you do another one, because he didn't get a chance to do it very much.
Oh, okay, sure,
So,
great. Yeah,
let's give you
Okay.
guys a good suggestion here. Good suggestion. Public bathroom.
Public bathroom. Thanks.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Do 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 boo do. Whoops.
Oh,
Oh,
I.
sorry.
Oh, sorry.
Sorry, John. I think the Zoom thing is kind of.
I think there was a.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, I think there was a delay.
I mean, I was trying to do like a
Yeah,
physical
but-
comedy thing where I was peeing I was
that's what
clapping
you
my
were
dick.
doing.
Yeah, you can't see it because it's under
Stained
the
or...
table. But
Whoa.
Are you?
I was trying to be physical. I mean, it's the
No.
first thing. You step out, you do something physical.
No.
Yeah, but not with your penis.
Not with your... Not with your penis.
Oh yeah. Intro to improv. Yeah, okay. I mean, I guess when you're in intro to improv, like you're not allowed to say no, and you're not allowed to like wave your penis around. And
No,
stuff like that.
definitely
I mean,
not.
this is like.
Definitely not.
Yeah, this is a kind of like basics that I wanted to get back to. Sorry, like starting every sentence with yes and
I forgot that
never
one.
asking questions and all that. Yeah, sure. Okay, I'll do that. Sorry.
I think it's the main thing is just to keep your penis out of the scene.
Yeah, well, I didn't have my
And
action.
don't say no, and not saying no as well is important, I think, too. I don't want...
Well,
I think the penis thing is more important.
Right, the penis thing probably, yeah,
I mean,
I agree.
if we were
with
in
that,
the same
Tony.
room, I wouldn't have I did take my actual penis out.
Oh
because it
no,
doesn't matter.
Stained or no.
It doesn't
Come on.
matter. You don't see it.
We
was under
we
the
don't need to
table.
know this information, at least. And again, this is inappropriate. Stained or we're gonna have to. This is very inappropriate behavior. This is your podcast. Remember this.
Yeah, I'm fine. I'm fine with it.
Okay, just a lot
I
to
am-
lose.
I'm just really glad that John Lennon is picking up on this inappropriate behavior.
Thank
Made me
you.
feel a lot
Thank
better
you.
about you as a teacher, John, I gotta say.
Thank you.
Yes.
What should I have been pooping? I don't know.
Well, I thought you were waiting. I thought you were like waiting for someone else to finish up, but then there was the delay on the sound and the lack of physical.
I don't know. Maybe
it was.
yeah, maybe because you're a woman, you don't know like men in public bathrooms are they will be humming while they urinate at the urinals.
Sure. Well, I also.
Sorry, I
You
really
would
gotta
know
fight
that.
you on this, Rose.
I think
really
we're getting a
push
bit
back
out of
here.
hand here. We're getting a little lost, I think, in the weeds,
Okay, oh, yeah.
so to speak.
Okay.
So maybe
Sorry,
it's
I've been doing this for 6 years. I mean, I don't know.
Doing improv or peeing?
Well, both.
good. I'm afraid we've gotten a little
I didn't
sidetracked.
pee until I was 27 years old.
That's
Wow,
okay.
wow.
Interesting. But maybe now we can get into something a little interesting. A lot of times with improv, you need inspiration, right? You can't. So clearly, the words I given you didn't inspire anyone in any way. The scenes were basically just like you took the word, you put it in the first sentence of your initiation. Let's be honest, right?
Well, isn't using a food as a suggestion typically kind of frowned upon or discouraged?
It's great, actually.
Yeah, well, I agree with Duke on this one. This is great food. Everyone likes food. Everyone's like, when they feel food, they feel,
It's a trope that in improv, food. I don't know how you didn't know this, but pineapple is literally the most suggested thing.
Really?
For improv shows. Yes.
So you're saying that just by complete chance that the suggestion that I gave for you is the most common improv suggestion?
I guess the odds are in your favor that if you
very
didn't know
interesting.
that,
Did not know that.
I think Sir John Lennon, since he used pineapple, everybody is just copying him and using pineapple. I think you're just insulting him.
Interesting.
He's such a great
So you
teacher.
think for the past 30 years people have been using pineapple because John Lennon just said it?
Look, I'm afraid we're getting lost in this again anyway. This is...
Well, I think you're getting caught up here in specifics, but I think John Lennon, he made fruit famous. Right? I mean, Apple.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah,
Apple Records,
Yes.
Strawberry Fields. Yeah, very good argument, I think.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
I feel like people knew about fruits before the Beatles.
That's your feelings, Antonia. That's your feelings.
Exactly. I agree.
You feel that.
Okay.
Were you alive then, perhaps?
I wasn't.
No.
But,
So
Yep,
we're going
there
to
you
keep
go.
going on then with the class, because like I said, we don't have much time. So we're going to do, like I said, inspiration. Yeah, we don't want to do the literal thing. So in improv, one of the great ideas of improv is A to C. Have you guys heard of this?
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah. So the
Sure.
idea is that we take the idea and we move from that idea to something that it reminds us of, and then we move from that to another thing that it reminds us of. So we have a little bit of a creative distance from that original idea. So, for example, if someone said to me pineapple, what do I think of when I hear pineapple? I think of fruit, and then I think of strawberries. So I go from pineapple to strawberries, and then that sort of is. Then I'll start a scene, perhaps with, strawberry fields forever. That kind of
Yes.
thing. Yeah,
That's great.
yeah.
That's
I'm sorry. Can I just? I mean, I don't want to argue about our scene or anything, but our scene was about fruit salad. It wasn't about pineapple, so that's also removed.
True,
from-
and as I mentioned before, that wasn't very specific. So it was not a good
Okay.
scene, Antonia. I'm sorry, it wasn't a good scene. I mean, we don't have to. It's a warm-up scene. If you're so hung up on a warm-up scene, I mean, we could spend the rest of the
Right.
class discussing the one
okay.
warm-up scene.
Sure.
So yeah, so maybe my initiation. So I would say, hey mate, living is pretty easy with eyes closed.
Right.
And then you might,
That's-
be like, what? And then be like, misunderstanding all you see,
Right.
I was a little worried about this because this is something that happened in literally every scene that you are in class, is that you were just reciting lyrics from your own songs.
That's not exactly true. Not exactly true.
It is exactly true.
How can that be wrong? They're his
Exactly.
words.
Exactly.
We had this exact same argument in class, and I had no way of being able to prove whether Paul or John wrote those particular sets of lyrics because they are always credited together for the songs. But nonetheless, even if the whole point of improv is to be coming up with stuff on the spot, and John, you were a pleasure to have in class
Thank
for
you.
so many other reasons, but it was frustrating sometimes.
I heard that you started one scene with "Here Come Old Flap Top,"
yes.
and then you got sued by the
grooving up
estate of
slowly.
Chuck Berry.
I got sued by who?
The estate
Chuck
of
Berry.
Chuck Berry.
Yes, when I started that scene that way.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was...
The lawyers were hiding in the theater.
Yeah. It's true, I did get sued by Chuck Berry for that, but that's not really important for the purposes of this, because I won the lawsuit, if anyone's curious. Turns out there's no copyright infringements possible in an improvisational comedy show. In fact, it was an unprecedented circumstance that even someone would file a copyright lawsuit towards an improv show. So that's what happened there.
Well, if I don't look again, I don't want to quibble, but I'm pretty sure they dismissed the lawsuit because you're dead.
pretty sure that. Well, we don't need to get in the technicalities of it.
All right.
We don't
You're
need
right.
to.
You're
Just,
right. You're right.
I mean, whether they dismissed it because I was dead or they dismissed it because the person bringing the lawsuit was also dead, this is not something that they were ready to distinguish who was at fault for being
Chuck
dead.
Berry was into a lot of like toilet type sex stuff.
I have an improv.
Not important.
How is that relevant?
Yes, Duke has an improv-related question. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. When you wrote Lucy in the Sky and you mentioned marmalade skies, were you referring to your breakfast?
Duke, that's not an improv-related question. That's another question about my songwriting that I'm not ready to talk about here today.
Does Chuck Berry do improv?
Apparently,
He does.
yes.
Yeah.
Apparently,
Oh, that's cool.
Yes, and he I mean, is he any good? I don't.
Well,
can he be great?
you know what
Could-
I heard? I heard that he didn't do any improv until he got a call from his cousin Marvin, who was like, "Hey, this new joke thing you've been looking for, well, listen to this." And he was actually at an improv show that Josh was in.
That's right.
Wow,
Yeah, I was-
really? That's fascinating.
Yeah, I inspired Chuck Berry.
And then
That's
Josh at the end
fascinating.
of the show said like, you guys don't get this yet, but your children are gonna love it.
Very
And then
good.
I said, and scene.
That's beautiful.
And George, that was when your group was still called Barbara Be Good, right?
That's exactly right. That was the name of our group.
Yeah,
Yep.
very interesting.
Now we just go by BBD. BBG. Barbara, yeah, that's,
And Josh-
sometimes I get it mixed up.
Josh,
yeah.
you got sued by both Michael J. Fox and Eric Stoltz, I believe, for ripping them off.
That's right. We did get sued by both of them. Yep.
Anyway,
We're still being sued.
now this is not exactly the most important thing. So now we're going to do another exercise here. So now we're going to have two people up again.
Right,
I'm going to
right,
give a
yes.
suggestion, and then one person is going to say, "Oh, that reminds me of this." So we're going to work on getting away from that initial suggestion. So just for example, someone can give me a suggestion somehow.
Snake.
So Snake. Okay, so Snake reminds me of Paul McCartney. And that reminds me of the song Yesterday. And so I would start and I would start a scene and I would try to make myself look a little bit like Paul. So I would kind of scrunch up my face in a weird way. And I would,
Yeah.
"Oh, John. I'm Paul McCartney." So you guys get the idea how you can get away from the suggestion towards something a bit more interesting, I think.
Wait, but wasn't Paul McCartney the B in this case? And if we're doing A, B, C, you said Snake makes you think of Paul. So that's B.
So, okay, thank you.
Sorry,
Thank
I'm
you,
also
Rose.
just
Thank
trying to
you.
figure- Yeah.
Yeah, so I guess in some ways, what you're saying is true that I didn't get far enough away with that. Okay, I'll admit it. I let my overwhelming feeling that the word snake reminded me of a person I know who is like a snake, so to speak, in that he it was very, very jealous and
Right.
he was constantly trying to corrupt
Right.
my creative work. And so I let that cloud me over. And maybe you're right, I shouldn't have done that. I should have done
Yes,
something
sir.
a little different. So let's try just to set a different example. So if I can get just another suggestion real quick.
Raccoon.
Raccoon. Now, okay. Let's be honest here. That's gonna make me think of Rocky Raccoon, which is another Paul McCartney song. So then I'm gonna, of course, start a scene with, I'm gonna sort of sit down. I'm gonna imitate Paul, and I'm gonna kind of scrunch my, oh John. But I feel as though that's a little bit too similar to the other suggestion, Raccoon and Snake. Maybe it's because they're both animals. So. One more. Give me one more. I need to make a good example here.
Tangerine.
Tangerine. Thank you. Tangerine. So tangerine makes me think of, well, it makes me think of strawberry, and then of course that makes me think of me writing the song "Strawberry Fields." So then,
Yes, great song.
again, I would probably start the scene with, "Hey, mate, living's pretty easy with eyes closed."
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, and of course, for physicality's sake, I'd be on the stage with my eyes closed, and the other person in the scene would probably just adopt that physicality and also be standing there with their eyes closed, kind of doing a very overly dramatic interpretation of a blind person with their hands stretched out, that kind of a thing.
I don't,
Very
I really.
avant-garde. Yeah.
Thank you, dude. Thank you.
This is something that happens so often in class that you would stop a scene and you would start telling your scene partner what they should be doing.
I would do that.
Yeah, exactly like you just described to us what your scene partner should be doing in that theoretical scene.
I'm just describing what's possible. So it's not. You're right. It
happens with me a lot. I got to be honest. Like I kind of put myself in kind of like a thrusting position, and my scene partner doesn't understand. Again, I've been doing improv for 6 years, and they don't back up right into it. And how do you even communicate that? I guess going back to the basics is like, how do you even communicate? Like, I'm obviously in a kind of doggy style situation.
Oh.
Like, how are you not?
Oh God.
How are you not seeing it?
Antonia doesn't seem to appreciate that one, Steindor.
I mean, no touching is only a rule for beginners, right?
Steindor.
Yeah, but I still wouldn't.
No, Steindor, this is bad. This is bad.
I just don't do that. Just no.
Yeah, don't do that, Steindor. This is your podcast for Pete's sake.
It is, and again, it's a podcast. We are not like touching, and we've been doing Zoom recordings, and I'm kind of losing my mind.
I just hope that you don't ever get hired on SNL, and then someone finds.
Oh man,
recording.
wait till they hear about my opinions on Chinese architecture.
Hey, no. Let's keep going now. Let's. So now you guys get the idea. So maybe we'll have two people up, and we're going to just go around the horn, so to speak, and just describe what we think.
Are we doing scenes, or we're just doing that? This reminds me of this.
Let's do the one person said this reminds me. Then they'll start an initiation from that. How about that? So, yes. And of course, let's have who wants to be the first two up. Duke, we've got Duke. And
I can.
Antonia, Duke and Antonia, perfect.
Yes.
I've got a good feeling about this one. Okay, and so
thank you.
Who wants to be the one to take the word? Duke, all right. Duke wants to do it. Okay,
yes.
Yeah, Duke. Duke, I'm very proud of you. This initiative that you're showing.
Thank you, sir.
Very good. So your suggestion then, of course, would be let's see. You're going to be Donald Trump.
Okay. All right. Well, Donald Trump makes me think of politics. And
isn't that sad? Isn't that sad
yes,
that's
unfortunately.
This is something that I woke up to, that it's like, when I died, Donald Trump, I would have never, ever thought that you'd be able to associate the words politics and Donald Trump.
Oh, yeah. But more importantly, politics makes me think of Sir John Lennon and his his political activism, just his trying to make the world a better place, and that's
true.
And that reminds me of myself.
Okay, so you've taken another.
I want to be
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so you've gone an extra step here, Duke.
I went A D to D. Sir. Yes.
You went from A to Duke, I guess, in a way, didn't you?
Of course.
Yeah. So that's an interesting. Don't make a habit of doing that, because you're gonna.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, you're gonna end up be doing a lot of scenes just as Duke, and again, you can be anything. You can anything is possible.
So I could be you.
Well, you could. But let's go. Maybe let's let Antonia try to start the scene, just because that was a bit of a botched effort, Duke. No offense.
I'm sorry.
So then, Antonia, your suggestion is let's go with something simple. Daiquiri.
Daiquiri makes me think of bars.
Interesting.
Which makes me think of like a bartender listening to people's problems.
Interesting.
So I might initiate the scene sort of like cleaning a glass.
Okay, so physicality.
Oh man, I'm so sorry that your girlfriend left you.
Oh, thank you. My name is John, by the way.
Oh, hi, John. Nice to meet you.
Thank you. Yeah, my girlfriend left me because I died.
Okay. Okay.
Oh, wow.
Okay, I'm going to stop the scene here. I'm going to stop the scene. Antonia, very good.
Yes.
Very good, Antonia. Lots of
thank you.
Yeah, you started with physicality. You established a character right away. You created a setting. Very good initiation. A+ initiation. The only problem I think with the initiation is that when you said I suggested daiquiri, and then your first thought was bar, and I thought, wait a minute, no, my first thought was strawberry, and so then I was like, strawberry makes me think of strawberry fields, and so I probably would have, if I had the suggestion daiquiri, probably would have started the scene again with my arms stretched out, eyes closed, saying, "Living is pretty easy with eyes closed, mate."
Wow.
So, John, are you saying
Excellent.
every scene should essentially start with the first line from Strawberry Fields
No, I'm
Forever?
not saying that. I'm saying that just for whatever reason, coincidence sake, that is what is occurring very often in these scenes. We don't have enough variety.
That is literally what he started every scene in intro
Yeah.
to 8 weeks of intro to improv. Every scene
well,
that he started.
okay, look, we can address it then. I had a pretty good idea for where the scene could have gone, and it never got far enough. We never got to the idea that I had.
We talked about this that once the scene is over, it's gone, and we learned to live with it not going the way we wanted to. You can't just restart the scene every time.
Yeah. Yeah, let it be. I know, I understand. Let the
But
scene
isn't
be.
it difficult for normal people to see the genius? I mean, isn't that always the way it is? You know?
Yes, thank you, Duke. Thank you. And Duke, I did want to give you a note again. That was
Thank
you don't be me. Don't be me in the scenes, please. I've given you the note already, didn't I?
I only said I just said John. I mean, could be really.
And you
any
said you were
John.
also not alive.
I'm still hung up on the fact that Yoko decided to break up with you after you died.
But we didn't establish that the girlfriend's name was Yoko. We didn't know what era
Exactly.
version
Yeah,
of
we
me.
I
this
mean,
was.
that's
get that
adding
far.
insult to injury, I feel like.
Yes.
Literally.
Okay.
I would.
I mean, did she?
I'm sorry.
Okay, now we can move on. We can move on to another. Let's do another one of these. So it's Steindor Rose or Josh Rose. Anyone?
I'll do it.
Josh will do it. Very good. Bringing in the teacher, the guns. All right. So who wants to go with Josh?
Oh,
Rose. Perfect. All right. So yours. And who wants to do the associating?
Sure.
Josh. Very good. Very good. Okay. So your suggestion then is Abby.
Abbey makes me think of an abbey, which makes me think of Belgian beer, which makes me think of yeast. So I might start a scene off with, "Hey, did you see I baked fresh bread for us?"
thank you so much for doing that, Josh. I'm really supportive of your new hobby.
Thanks. I was a little worried that you might get annoyed at how much bread I've been baking, but I'm glad that.
Okay,
You're
I'm gonna
finally
stop. I'm gonna
supportive of
stop.
something
I'm
I'm
gonna
doing.
stop. I'm sorry.
okay.
I'm gonna stop. Very good. Very good. Very good. Except for the fact that you did talk only about bread, did you not? It was
Yes.
so the suggestion was Abby, which is wow.
Yes.
What a wild
Yes.
suggestion that is. Abby makes me think of so many things. Makes me think of a road, for one. Abbey Road.
Right,
Which makes
right.
me, of course, then also think of songs from that album, characters from that album. Mean Mr. Mustard Seed. I probably would have started a
Yes.
song. I would have been Mean Mr. Mustard Seed, blah, 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 blah. So that
Right.
a lot of possibilities. And you went with bread, a yeast, and you started a scene all about bread. I might as well have suggested bread, but I didn't.
Right.
Thank you, Duke.
But it was A2C'ing.
Very good point.
Yeah, and I don't, far be it from me. This is your course, but just if I can impart some of my own, just experience as a teacher, it's usually not a great idea to note ideas that students have.
Yeah.
It's better to maybe note technique.
Okay. then
and
Yes.
it's usually frowned upon to say, well, I would have done it this way.
okay.
All due respect, that's Sir John Lennon.
Thank you, Duke. Thank you.
Again, and you know what, I like I said, I am so incredibly thankful to have even right now like an hour of just being able to talk to John Lennon would blow. I mean, I fell in love for the first time to John Lennon's music. This is like, if I were to tell 16-year-old me that this was happening, I would be just crazy. But I have to say, it's been a weird experience. They always say, don't meet your heroes, and I never thought it would kind of pan out this way.
Well, I'm sorry that you feel that way. I mean, it's just this is me giving my class the best way I can, and frankly, Josh, I learned from you.
You know what, I have to take some responsibility for that. You're
Yes.
absolutely right.
Well-
I guess I never expected one of my students to start teaching 3 months after they started
Yeah, but
doing improv.
then you never would have expected that, and because I'm groundbreaking is what I'm doing. And Rose, I just wanted to say, very good, Rose, very
Thank you.
good.
Thanks.
No notes, none at all. Perfect. You dealt with what you were given. Duke, you had something
Can I
to say?
just?
Yes, I just wanted to say that you're a genius, and
Thank you.
I think it's typical of the normal people not to realize that a genius like you, you don't need 6-7 years to learn improv. This is,
I need 6.
No.
Can I just? I just a minor quibble. This is so minor, and I feel like, isn't the song "Mean Mr. Mustard"?
I was actually wondering
I thought it
about
was-
that too.
Is it Mean Mr.
Oh
Mustard?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's not "Mean
yeah.
Mr.
The name-
Mustard Seed."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ah, you're right.
It's not
aren't you?
Seed.
Yeah, no, it's not Seed. You're right. It's Mean Mr. Mustard.
Right. Yeah.
Can I just
Mean
say,
Mr.
in terms
Mean
of
Mustard. Mean Mr. Mustard. And what does he do? He sleeps in the dark shade. What is it? How does it go?
So,
in terms of the scene with Josh and Rose, like if I had been like, I would have tagged Josh out and initiated like a kind of ghost type bread kneading scene, like, where we had the bread, the yeast. So Rose and I would be like kneading the bread, kind of like if it was Patrick Swayze and the ceramic kind of vase that they were doing.
Okay.
Cool. Yeah, that.
I would not have let that.
I
scene
think that
continue.
I think, Steno, you're making people uncomfortable again.
Is it?
We've all been doing it for a while now. I mean, let's get rid of these basic,
Okay, well,
training wheel stuff.
maybe for next class. Unfortunately, this does bring us to the end of this class. But I guess we can just kind of go around. Yeah, I know it's quite disappointing. Yeah.
I do have an improv-related question.
Oh, sure. Yeah, we're going to go around with one more related question or closing statement from everybody. So, Duke, what's your improv question?
Since we know that in initial improv classes, you're supposed to establish the when, what, and where.
Yes.
And I
Definitely those three things.
When is super important.
Yes.
When is super
Yeah.
important? Very,
Like-
very important. A lot of people
like
get
this
hung
is-
up trying
is-
to establish the who.
Is
But I
John Lennon
wouldn't do
alive
that
or not?
myself.
When did he know what?
I wouldn't establish the who if I was.
This
at
is
it.
something that we set ourselves apart in our theater. We'd say characters do not matter. We care more
Right.
about a period in
When-
time.
When,
Yes.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
I think also,
And-
like I said, you don't want to establish the who, so it's more important to know is it the scene set in a teenage wasteland? Is it set?
I mean, you don't wanna-
in
yeah.
Brighton. Is it a a
If anything, you want to
wizard?
establish the Beatles.
well, and so in
Wait,
that-
John, you were setting the scene up in a teenage wasteland?
I'm just saying that is a possible thing there. That's a possible thing you
Right.
could do.
I mean,
teenage wasteland.
I mean, your team used to be
Yeah.
called Good Luck Baba O'Reilly, right?
That's exactly right. I was. That was the name of our very first group.
and then
Good
what
Luck,
happened?
Baba
Keith
O'Reilly.
Moon saw a show and he sued you guys, right?
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
He also came back from the dead
Yes,
and
Keith.
sued us, but he lost because he's dead.
Yes, it's true. Unfortunately, that was the precedent. Actually, that my case was settled on with Chuck Berry was the case of Good Luck Bob O'Reilly versus Keith Moon.
Anyway, Antonia, did you have any closing remarks for the class? Any thoughts? Any notes for me as a teacher?
That was really interesting.
Thank you.
Yeah, I just wanted to ask Josh, is that just going to be the norm? Are we just going to have like tons of dead people going through the school who will then teach classes? And
Well, I'm not
I did
teaching
not
this
know that
through
this was-
the school. That should be pretty obvious.
And I do just need to point out, I had no idea that this. Honestly, I got this invitation. It said, John Lennon would like to thank you for your time teaching him Intro to Improv. That was the name.
I did
of
want
the
it.
Zoom
I
meeting
wanted to
invite.
thank you for that.
Right. Mm-hmm. And so I thought it was just going to be a brief call with John. I did not realize he was teaching, or that it was going to be a podcast that anybody could listen to.
Well, if that's true, Josh,
at
I
any time.
admire your ability to go along with what's happening. You've been very adaptable. At no point did you
course.
indicate that you thought this was supposed to end after 5 minutes of it starting. So
Far
I
be it
appreciate
from
that.
me to tell John Lennon to stop.
Well, that didn't stop you when I was doing some great scenes in my other classes. You would tell me to stop, and
All the time.
Yeah.
I would tell you constantly to stop. Right. Because I was in a position of authority.
okay,
And people were paying me to teach them improv classes.
fair enough. And now the tables have turned. Here we are. Duke, sorry, we need to go around 1 second and just get everyone. Rose, any closing thoughts, notes for me as a teacher? Notes for the other students as well. Perhaps scene partners that you were in recently that kind of got the scenes
That
off to
seems a
bad
little
start.
bit. That's somewhat non-conventional, so I'll see. But I do just want to say, I'm very happy to be here.
thank you.
You, John, for
Yes.
coming back and all of that. But just a couple of points, just for a clarification. This is not super. Were you knighted? You're not a
I don't
sir.
think I was. I don't think I was.
I just wanted. I know again.
I should have
if
been. So
that
I've
was wrong,
appreciated
but,
Duke assuming that I was, but I don't think I was.
Oh my God.
I believe that you're just Mr. Lennon.
Yes.
How? Oh, okay.
It's okay, Duke. It's okay.
But in any case, I was very happy for the refresher, especially on the zip zap zop front.
The obla di obla da, life goes on.
Right, I'm excited to try to take that version into my practice with my group. And to that point, Duke,
Yes.
I think that we should probably have just a little chat next time the group meets up.
Okay.
Just about
There,
power
with that,
dynamics.
we can get into. You guys can get into that in your own time. I think we don't have much left. And
Sure.
Josh, we already heard from you. I think about what your thoughts are on me.
Yeah,
as a teacher.
I'd love to give you some more notes on teaching, but
Oh,
we don't
let's
need to do
distill
that
it
in
to
this meeting.
one note, maybe.
Maybe just get a few more years of experience under your belt before you start trying to
more
teach
years.
other people.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
I think you'll do great in like 5 or 6 years.
Okay. Thank you for that. Thank you for that. The Beatles put out a lot of albums in 5 to 6 years, so I think I'll be doing a lot of good comedy work. And Steindor, any last notes or anything like that?
Yeah, just because we haven't been meeting up in person, Duke. I don't know if our phone numbers got mixed up at a sheet at CCB or something like that, but I got a call from a guy named Mark David, and he was asking if you still live in the Dakota building.
In the Dakota building.
Yeah, he was supposed to meet up with you.
Oh.
He was said something about like, I gotta meet up with him so his girlfriend can dump him.
Oh. She's gonna dump me?
I think we
I'm not-
I think we don't have time
She
to
was-
unfortunately unpack that, Duke. I hope you're happy in the how's the Dakota treating you?
Fine, but it was supposed to happen after I die.
After
Yeah, well,
you
that's-
die.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh,
Well,
something
if you
got
do
mixed
run
up.
into Mark David Chapman,
I have
let him know I've got a few things I'd like to say to him, all right? Anyway, that brings us to the
I
end
don't
of-
like him.
No. So this brings us to the end. Thank you so much for participating in my first class. Round of
Thank
applause
you.
for yourselves, everybody. Yes.
Thanks.
It's
John.
not easy. It's not easy to jump into a class like this. So our times are very tough, and it requires a lot of imagination. So of course, I wrote a song called "Imagine," and I used to say, "Imagine there's no heaven," and of course, I lived and died and proved that there is a heaven. So
Yes.
There's even a
we
stairway.
can kind of take the lyrics to my song, and we need to adapt them a little bit. And so one of the things I'm working on now is imagine there's no improv. It isn't actually that hard to do. So unfortunately, that's the end of this class here. And so thank you once again. I've been John Lennon. You guys are all going to come back next week.
Yes.
Wonderful.
Oh, there's more.
Oh, of course, we're going to do the whole curriculum.
Oh, right.
Great.
Can we meet in
Can I ask
person?
where you got the curriculum from? I'm just curious.
The curriculum, I've been working on it for a really long time.
Oh.
Yeah. Next week, we're going to
Okay.
work on suggestions. One thing about improv, all you need is a suggestion. Suggestions, all you need. And so thank you, everybody, and goodbye.
Thank you. Thank you, sir.
It's the Berlin Open Stage Show.
Wow, what an episode.
That was crazy.
John Lennon.
That was
Oh
so
my God.
interesting. I mean, I've taken a lot of improv classes myself. And
Oh
so-
man, I've been doing it for a while. So
Yeah.
and I was happy to go back to the basics a little bit.
Sure.
And just being around John Lennon, of course, is a thrill.
Yeah.
Been a fan of the Beatles since I remember.
Yeah, I love the
just as
Beatles
a
too.
kid.
I gotta be honest, I'm not sure I liked the class that much. Just watching it, didn't feel like I learned very much. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, I understand. I felt restricted
Yeah.
while doing it a little bit, but still John Lennon. So
Yeah.
we
So
gotta be
pretty cool.
thankful
Yeah.
for that.
Yeah.
So we have to thank a few people. We have to thank the people who all introduced themselves in this.
Yeah, the people
episode.
who did the class. Thank you so much, Antonia Bear, for doing this. Josh Telson, Rose Warner Miles, and Duke Sean. Thank you guys so much for participating in the class, and you
Yeah.
as well, Steindor. Thank you for that.
Thank you. Yeah, my pleasure. And we want to thank Comedy Cafe Berlin, the oft-mentioned venue that is usually hosting.
Yeah, go to
these
comedycafeberlin.com, and if you want to help them out during this time, feel free to donate something.
Yeah, you
buy a
can buy
gift
some
card.
gift cards.
Yeah, the shows are
Some
going to happen there
merch.
eventually. I really hope.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
We'll be back.
Yeah.
I got to get back into it.
Yeah.
And we want to thank Bear Radio, who host our episodes online. Check out their other podcasts. And thank you to Banglist, the band that made the theme song. Check
Yep.
out their other music online. Banglist, very fun.
Yep. See you next time.
Yeah, bye.
Thanks for listening to The Boss, the Berlin Open Stage Show.
The Boss is produced by Steindor Janssen and Trevor Silverstein and is released in partnership with Bear Radio. You can find this and other shows at bearradio.org.
New episodes are recorded live every Thursday at 11 p.m. at the Comedy Cafe Berlin.
Entry is free, so join us for the live experience.
Also, a special thanks to Banglist for our theme song, and once more to Comedy Cafe Berlin.
The Boss is available wherever you get your podcasts, so be sure to subscribe and maybe even leave a review.
Interested in sponsoring The Boss? Write to us at podcasttheboss@gmail.com.
Thanks again for listening, and see you next time at the Berlin Open Stage Show.